In this video, we are talking about the calm before the storm as things are quiet right now across the US. But not for long, as it looks like December will come in with a bang. Forecast models are showing a major uptick in activity around December 5th, so we're going to look at how that could affect you right now. Welcome back, y'all. Ryan Hall here with the weather forecast. It's officially December, and in my house, that means it's officially Christmas. We kind of went overboard this year on the Christmas decor since it's Echo's first, but he seems to like it a lot. Last year on Christmas, we had a big snowstorm in the east, and as rare as that is, and it's kind of a long shot, I think we have a chance of something similar happening again this year. We'll talk more about that later, I promise, but for now, let's start talking about the weather. All right, here's a big old look at the United States of America, and as you can see, it's actually a little bit warmer this morning than it has been for a lot of us. Here in my neck of the woods, we're at the crack of dawn, and it's 55 degrees. It's gonna be like 65 today. You can see it's all the way up near 50 near Chicago. It's a balmy 37 degrees in Bismarck, North Dakota, and if you've been keeping up with the videos, we've been talking about this for a while. A ridge is moving in and warm air is advecting to the northeast, and that's just the pattern that we're in right now. Enjoy it while you can. As far as precipitation goes, we do have a little bit of something going on up here in the northeast. Got a line of showers and actually some pretty heavy downpours moving through upstate New York. That'll be heading towards Syracuse about the time this video goes up. We got some snow showers up here near Portland, points north there in Maine. That's going to be moving out pretty quickly, but right here in the extreme northeastern portion of the US, you guys are locked in on just a really crappy weather pattern as that ridge just can't get all the way up to you, so you're right there in the battle zone where you get all this precipitation. Let's take a look at the future on the weather models. All right, here we go. We're looking at the NAM 3-kilometer model, and this is going to show us what the radar could look like as we go into the future. If you want to keep up with the date and time, it's always above my head up there in Eastern time. You can see we're starting off there at 11 a.m. today. We still got those showers, some mixed precipitation, and some snow up there in Maine, but that will continue to move off to the east. But look at this, a big area of snow and rain over here in Quebec that is moving off to the east, and that will bring some more precipitation into the extreme northeastern areas of the US there, as a little bit of a warm bubble has moved into the area, allowing for rain to fall instead of snow. And look at all that rain there in Maine as we go forward, and then the cold air comes back in. You got scattered snow flurries. And then look at this, here we are, 5 a.m. tomorrow, December 3rd. It's really quiet across the entire US, okay? We got some snow flurries as a remnants of a clipper is trying to move through the Great Lakes region. We've got some isolated bands of some pretty heavy lake effect snow out here, but for real, there's not a lot going on during this time period. I'm calling this the calm before the storm. Look at this, 4 p.m. Friday, the vast majority of America is going to be having the quietest weather they've seen in a while. Along with the quietness, we're also going to have pretty pleasant weather too, with temperatures way up in the 60s as far north as southwestern portions of South Dakota. Really, the majority of us are going to be seeing really warm temperatures all the way up into Illinois, Indiana. Even there on the coast in the mid-Atlantic regions, we're going to see temperatures trying to breach 60 degrees, maybe even higher, through Maryland, Delaware, all the way up into New Jersey. Now, unfortunately, this line up here points north. It's going to stay cold for you guys. It's going to be really hard for that cold pattern to break for you. I think you will get a little bit of a break before too long, but right now, a lot of this warm air is just going to stay bubbled up down here. So let's go into the future. Low temperatures tonight are going to get pretty cold up here in the northeast, but where it's manageable everywhere else, okay? We've got some colder temperatures locked up here in the western half of the country, especially there in the Rocky Mountains in the Pacific Northwest, but you guys can deal with that, okay? Nothing too crazy here in the Dakotas, and it's actually pretty warm for most of the south, okay? Let's see what high temperatures are going to look like tomorrow, and there you go. Once again, it's pretty warm. It's pretty warm for the vast majority of us. There is an area of cold air that's trying to sink into the northeastern portion of the US and push it a little bit further south. So you can see there on Saturday, December 4th, some of the warm air is suppressed a little bit further south, and we are going to be a little bit colder here, especially in the Great Lakes region. But I mean, for the most part, it's all right. Now you can start to see something really interesting here on the temperature model. If we look over here to the north and west near Montana, South Dakota, North Dakota, Colorado, see that little piece of energy coming down from the northwest? What is that? Well, buddy, that's our next big storm, okay? We've had all this warm air bubbling up down here in the south. We've got all this cold air just piling up back here in Canada. There's a storm system coming through that's going to try to allow that to come to the south. It's going to mix up with our warm air, and buddy, we're going to see a storm. Let's start talking about that now. All right, let's talk about that next big storm that's coming, and you can see the beginning stages of it. The little baby storm there in the Pacific Northwest and western portions of Canada around Saturday, December 4th at 7 a.m. If we go forward a little bit, watch this, okay? There's an a little area of moisture that's locked into the Texarkana region down here, and that's associated with the constant bubbling up of warm temperatures that we've had down there, and all that air is kind of locked in place. So we've not only seen a lot of warm temperatures, but we're also seeing a lot of that Gulf moisture just kind of stacking up down here in the deep south. And I want you to pay attention to that, because this storm over here is going to interact with that, and it's really what's going to cause our big cold front and storm feature on the front edge of this storm. Here we are around December 5th at 10 a.m. We're seeing heavy snow break out across northern Minnesota into Wisconsin, the upper peninsula of Michigan, and even here in the oven mitt on the northern part, we're going to see some heavy snow early in the morning on Sunday. You can see these blue lines becoming tightly packed and a little bit sagged here on the backside of that low pressure system. That means that there's some cold air locked and loaded up here that wants to spread down into the U.S., and we're going to watch that happen here. Look at that. Sunday, December 5th, 10 p.m., massive snowstorm happening up here in the extreme northern Great Lakes regions, heavy rain breaking out in the Ohio Valley, and possibly some severe thunderstorms, or at least just some thunderstorms are popping up down here in Oklahoma, Arkansas, Texas, Louisiana. And once again, another chance for some thunderstorms in the deep south once again on December 6th as we head later on into the day, as this massive storm, and this is by no means an exaggeration, this is a massive storm. A 985 millibar low pressure system is literally just plunging cold air down into the central portion of the U.S., and it's trying its best to knock this warm air that's just stacked up down here out of the way. And an atmospheric fight looks to us like a thunderstorm, so that's what's going to happen down here. For the most part, though, if you're in the Ohio Valley or if you're north of, say, Birmingham, north and east, this is just going to be a wind-driven rain event. Really nothing crazy going on over here. Some of us, especially the further south that you go, are going to see a lot of rain, maybe some flooding. And the further north that you go, we're going to see a lot of wind. But really, the main effects, the major impacts from this storm are going to be up here in Ontario and Quebec, as a lot of these guys are going to see some blizzard conditions and just some heavy snow totals, some of the heaviest snow we've seen so far this year. So let's pull this forward once again. And buddy, I'm telling you, that is a strong storm, 978 millibars. You can see those isobars tightly packed around the center of that storm. That just tells you how strong it is, bringing some frigid cold Arctic air into the northern portion of the U.S. and just really causing a ruckus, man. Heavy rain in the northeast, heavy snow still back here in the Great Lakes region. Some of you guys are going to pick up more than a foot of snow from this, and just a lot of wind, and it just sets the stage for cold air to be in place for whatever comes next. Look at that. More on that here in a second. Let's shoop-de-whoop back a little bit and talk about some other things. First of all, snow totals. I'm telling you guys, if you're in Quebec, man, this is going to be a snowy event. South central portions of Ontario as well, and now let's zoom in on the Great Lakes. And around Duluth, maybe 10 inches of snow. Upper Peninsula of Michigan, I'm seeing a ton of areas that are going to see more than possibly 10 inches of snow. That's Snowtown, baby. And once again, even here in the oven mitt, okay, the main northern part there, 7-8 inches of snow. Would you like to see it? If you would like to see it, good news, it's coming. If you don't want to see it, too bad. It's coming. Now, the bulk of this snow, as of right now, isn't forecasted to make it into the northeastern portion of the U.S., but there's still some back-end snow that's going to work its way in there and possibly bring a couple inches to upstate New York and, of course, into Vermont and New Hampshire. Now, of course, with the snow comes the cold air. Here we are in the beginning of the day on December 5th before the storm hits. We're sitting pretty here in the plains, okay, with above average temperatures. We're dealing with our below average temperatures over here in the northeast. All is normal. All is pretty regular, but you can see this big, massive area of cold air is just stacked up here in Canada, ready to come down, and that's what happens. This massive cold front comes down. We get that cold air coming down into the central portion of the U.S., and remember, on the front side, when that cold front comes through, it's going to rake up the warm air on the front end. So the northeast, you're going to see a very brief period of time while it's raining where it does warm up quite a bit. The main story here I want to show to you is that with all this cold air coming down and all of this warm air raking up in the south, if we can get this to kind of combine right here in the right way, I think that we're not only going to be talking about rain and snow, we may be talking about tornadoes and severe weather in the deep south. Because not only do we have a big cold front coming through and a big change in temperatures, we have a large dry line coming through, a massive area of cold, dry air. That's the main thing that Canada's, exporting to the U.S. right now. Look at this. Extremely cold, dry air coming down to the south and east very quickly and combining with some very moist air. Once again, if I go back just a little bit, you can see all this very warm, moist Gulf of Mexico air that's just been kind of compounding and sitting here in the southeast or in the deep south. That is going to be obliterated by this influx of cool, dry air that comes in right there around Monday, December 6th. And if the timing is right with this, once again, I think we can see some big time thunderstorms, maybe even some severe weather down here right along that dry line. That is an impressive influx of cold air from Canada. That is a widespread sweeping dry line if I've ever seen one. And once again, right in this area is where I'm concerned about possibly seeing some big time thunderstorms. The Euro model is showing this pretty well on the instantaneous flash rate. This shows you where lightning strikes may occur. And where lightning strikes may occur, there may be thunderstorms. And there you have it. We could be talking about thunderstorms and severe weather on Sunday, December 5th, and also Monday, December 6th, early in the morning, maybe in the early afternoon hours through some deeper portions of the south. But yeah, that's something we have to keep an eye on, and I will keep you updated on that. The Storm Prediction Center knows about this too, as they have already highlighted some areas where there could be potentially some thunderstorms in the future. I'm sure they're going to up those probabilities a little bit if this continues to show the intensity like this, because guys, this is an intense storm. This is going to be a very windy storm. Look at this. Some places in Ohio could see 40-50 mile an hour wind gust as the storm is moving through, and that's not even associated with thunderstorms. Over the lakes here, we could see some big time winds, possibly over 60 miles an hour. So the low pressure system itself is just spinning, and it's cranking so hard that it's going to cause widespread, pretty good gusty winds across the U.S., even without embedded thunderstorms causing them. So that's how intense this storm is, and I do think that there's going to be enough energy down here to cause some severe weather. All right, so that's the next storm that's coming. Now, there is another one after that. There's always another one after that. So let's go ahead and take a look at it, okay? First of all, I want to go ahead and note that the amount of cold air that comes down behind this first storm is greatly going to determine what the impacts of the second storm will be like. Let's watch this next storm come in. Here we are. We still got cold air in place through much of the Midwest and the Ohio Valley. We've got another system coming in, and we've got still some moisture down here in the Gulf of Mexico that are going to meet up and cause another storm. Check this out. Wednesday, December 8th, the Euro is showing a very interesting system to where we're going to have possibly some snow up here in the Great Lakes and Ohio Valley regions, and once again, some storms and some heavy rain down here in the south. Now, some of the models are also showing a strip of mixed precipitation or ice right there in the middle, and that's, of course, something that we don't want to see, but that's something that we have to watch very closely, because once again, it really depends on this storm and exactly how much cold air is plunged down this way. So that's what the next storm looks like, and that could possibly even bomb out and become a big time East Coast storm over here for portions of New England, maybe even portions of Connecticut, all the way up through Massachusetts and Maine. That's a classic signal for a nor'easter there, but we're pretty far out from this storm, okay? It's about 6 days out. Things can change either way. It could go away, or it could become an even bigger threat and cause major impacts as a winter storm. So we're going to watch it very closely. And guys, I'm telling you, after that, there's another one that we have to watch, and then there's another one, and then there's another one. The main story there is going to be the rain, okay? So, you combine all of these storms, and we're talking about possibly 6 or 7 inches of rain down here in Alabama. Things are just going to be waterlogged out here, guys, okay? And if you get a lot of this rain in a short period of time, especially there in Georgia and Alabama, I think we're going to have some isolated flash flooding problems for sure. And overall, it does look like we are heading into a very active pattern. We're building up to this major pattern flip that I think is still going to happen sometime after December 15th, and that transition period is going to be bumpy, okay? There's going to be a lot of storms. If you want to hear more about that and some more ideas on what the long-term forecast could be like, make sure you check out my December forecast video that I posted just the other day. I will have a link for it in the description if you want to watch that after this, but everything's kind of playing out exactly how I thought it would then. So go watch that to get a better idea of what the pattern flip's going to be like. And that's all the weather talk I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching. If this storm continues to uptrend, and especially if we see any more signs of severe weather down there in the deep south, I'm going to have very consistent updates for you on this storm. So make sure you subscribe to the channel, like the video, all that good stuff. You know what to do. And I will see you in the next one. Goodbye.